Hey guys, your boy Amber Wolf, and I'm back for another video. Today I wanted to talk about emotions. What I've realized while having this introspective moment while handling emotions. All right, I believe I said a few videos back, that the majority of my job is to manage a project, and the project comes due every third year. And basically, it's a mad dash every year to make sure I do my checks and balances to make sure by year 3 we're ready to go. And I've learned so much about emotions lately that, especially from the beginning of this, because we've got a few months before this assessment is going to take place, that some people act solely through emotion, that it forces them to be living in a constant state of anxiety. Let me explain. We have a boss that wants to make sure, because if something goes bad, it'll fall on us, but it's first gonna fall on him. And stuff rolls downhill. So basically for him, he wants to make sure everything, like, cross your T's, dot your I's, because he's worried that it's gonna look bad on him. And sometimes because he has so much, he's ready to go and has so much anxiety, that anxiety is then pushed onto other people. And not everyone's well adjusted enough to realize that anxiety, he's not upset with you. He's just anxietal about getting this done. And the best way to cure that is to stop his anxiety. And how do you stop his anxiety? You give him an answer that puts him at ease. It's an emotional response. However, when he does that, the other folks in the office who don't understand that think that he's upset with them. Therefore, they get upset. They doubt themselves, and they start getting emotional as well. They're irritable, they're crabby. You see how, like, when one person projects their emotions on another, that person also has an emotional response. And then that emotional response keeps going. And for myself, while we're having the meeting and he's asking for X, Y, Z, I didn't take it as anything negative. I took it as okay, cool. Yeah, I have it, so I'll show you. I could definitely send that to you, not a problem. But then people were thinking, like, why is he picking on us? And why is he doing this? It's kind of, it's his job to make sure we do it right. And if we provide him with security, then he will feel okay. Now, I know I'm talking about work specifically, but I want to talk about how emotions actually fuel things. It can fuel a positive or negative response, and it can cloud your judgment. So just last night, our son is in a group. He's in kind of an after-school activity where they work on, like, bushcraft or maybe projects. They, like, teach boys how to use their mechanical mind, use their engineering portion of their mind to devise things, to make things, right? Whether it be from trebuchets or, like, catapults, like little mini catapults, to what's the other thing? They teach them how to use drills, teach them how to drill stuff, make stuff. Just use their hands a lot, because those boys like to run around a lot. So it's like you're focusing little kids into getting this done. And my son, they work out every day. They run, they do push-ups every single day. Like, we're pretty, I don't want to say strict. We just want them to have a schedule. And if they're, like, doing their laps every day and then they're doing their push-ups every day, and it's not a lot, it's like 20 push-ups, but still, they're, like, doing something consistently with their body. They're, like, staying physical, right? It's a lot of fun. We like train, fight. I beat him up a lot, beats me up a lot. We go ahead and go to this thing where there's a ton of boys, like 60 plus boys. And these kids kept beating him at everything. So I'm sitting back and watching. I'm not getting involved. I'm like, all right, son, let me see what you do. And he's all of 6, right? So he's sitting there losing. And whoever loses has to run a lap. So he's running laps, something he's good at. So he runs and he's back. He runs and he's back. And he runs and he's back. But sooner or later, he starts getting angry. He's like, I'm tired of losing. I'm like, okay, well, how can we fix that? And he's, like, emotional. He's crying. He's, like, bursts out into tears. I'm like, oh, buddy. So I talk to him. I pull him to the side. And I'm like, hey, man, I just want to let you know you're doing a great job. He's like, no, but he's faster than me. He's moving too fast. That's why I'm not doing well. It's like, no, buddy, you're just too slow. And none of these kids are actually faster than you. Like, I guarantee you, what they're doing is they're using the game they were playing to their advantage. While my son was trying to do the honorable thing and stand straight up and wait until the coach called and they were able to go ahead and grab the cone, which is they were doing, 2-on-2 grab the cone before the other person does. He was like, oh, well, when I do a squat, I got to stand all the way back up. When I do a burpee, I got to stand all the way back up. All these other kids are like right down to the ground, standing right over the cone. He like gave them a foot or two. So already he's operating at a disadvantage. And because he got emotional, he didn't see that he could also, I'm not saying work the game in his favor, but he could change a few things that would make his life easier and belay his emotions, right? It would slow his emotions, that would pull back from him being so upset, because he's like, oh, I'm not slow. He was beating himself up, thinking emotional. He was getting emotional, thinking, I'm not good enough. I'm not good. I suck at this. I'm not. I'm like, that is not it at all. He's just moving faster than you because he's closer to the ground. And once I told him that, I'm telling you, he lost like, I hurt to let my son lose anything, but he lost like 10 times. And then I was like, all right, just let him figure it out. You can't be there for everything. And then I waited till he like had that emotional response. And I was like, what's the matter? I keep losing. And that's when we got into it. So taking it back to the story I was just talking about work. These guys get emotional often. And that's okay, because we're human. We have emotions. Duh. What I try to like really kindly like interject, because I don't like, well, if you do this, I don't tell people what to do. It's not my business. However, as a team leader or being part of a team, not team leader, but being part of this team and being someone who's really firmly entrenched in what we do, I let them know, as well as one of the other guys in the office, that like, this is not personal. They're not trying to get on you. What they need is to feel comfortable, and I'll show you. So our boss came in the next day and he said, all right, I want to talk about the things that I didn't like from our meeting yesterday. I didn't like hearing, or what have you. And I sat him down and they were watching, and I talked to him about it. Like, they're just the same way I'm talking to you guys. And he's like, great. I feel great about this. He kept saying, I feel great about this. I feel so confident in you guys. Nothing changed. I didn't do anything extra. I didn't make anything extra. All I did was take my time to explain to him and educate him on what I do and what I've done. And he's like, whew, oh yeah, and I believe as humans, when we take time to educate folks on what we're about in a totally neutral way, we literally gain a follower, we gain a friend, we gain someone who's in your corner. And I love that. And while we have another person that's in a position of power, he comes in and he wants to know why people aren't around or not in the office, and it's just me. They also had a negative response to that as well, of course. Even though they were completely in the wrong. They would come to work half an hour late. But that's okay, right? Because they're humans. They could be late. They can't get fired. But they could be late all they want to. It's their prerogative, right? But also, when we do these things, people are going to also respond in their own emotional way as well. There's a consequence for everything. And it's just funny that it's a bunch of men who claim to be so tough and rigid and on it, who act extremely emotionally every single day. And don't get me wrong, I have my moments, but it's few and far in between, because I realize if somebody's coming to me with an emotional response, it's probably not me, more than likely. That's just the way I live my life, the way my dad raised me, so whatever. But moving forward, there was another incident that had happened last night as well, and once again, super emotional. Everything was emotional. And if any of these people watch this video, I don't care at all whatsoever. As I said the same thing to him. So basically, at that same event that my son was at, I also have a very close friend of mine, right? We've hung out, we've gone on cruises together as families, like one family, other family. I really care about this guy and his family a lot. They're good people. We started talking about something, and I realized his politics or what's going on in the world. And I realized his response to me was extremely emotional. And I had talked to my wife, and said, man, I had a talk with so-and-so, and I realized he seems more emotional than, like, not that he's not super emotional, but he seemed pretty charged up. Like, everything was like very cutting how he said everything to me. He's like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh, okay. Bro, I'm not against you at all. Even if I have a difference of opinion, we're still friends. Thinking differently doesn't change how I feel about you. That's nothing wrong with that. I live in a world where everybody's different. So we disagree. Okay, who cares? Still my boy. But I could tell that a lot of people are charged that way. And it doesn't make me better than anybody else or anything like that, but I'm self-aware. Like, that is not I'm not gonna catch bees with vinegar. So I really try to understand and try to be empathetic at times, right? There's also a time to be like, to buck up, but generally I try to be empathetic because I understand they're going through something and it ain't me. So that happened. And then he informed me that he may be losing his job. So that made total sense why he was like so turned up. But had I responded emotionally, I could have damaged the relationship, right? Because I care about my peeps. Later that night, my daughter's in the bathroom, and I'm just gonna say the story. Their son goes into the bathroom, and my daughter's like just about 10. So and their son's just about 10. And his other girl's in the bathroom. So in my opinion, the bathroom was closed. There was a bathroom down the hallway or like right around the corner he could have went to, but he decided to go into the female's bathroom. And like, for me, for the way we've raised our kids, unless they're with their mom, there shouldn't be like teenage boys in the girls' bathroom. I'm just not gonna play that game. Sorry. I don't care if it's friends or foe. It just seems inappropriate to me. And for the girls, our daughter didn't feel very comfortable with the situation. And my wife was staying in the bathroom, and the kid comes out, and the mom already saw my wife's face, so she just decided, without talking to her, she was like, I'm hearing noise over there. Y'all, it's 100 degrees outside. My AC just broke. Oh my gosh, 100 degrees in the winter. Or it says 99. Good night. So basically, the mom, who's good friends, I would say really pretty good friends with my wife, saw that her son had done something that might have led to a really potential weird situation, right? He came out of the bathroom, and his daughter's like, yeah, he's in there. And my wife's like, what? Well, he shouldn't be in there. That's unacceptable, right? He could have just went down the hallway. The boy's bathroom closed, so he just runs in there. The mom, I'm walking up. The mom runs by me with the boy, with her son. It's like, tell your wife I'm sorry. Tell your wife I'm sorry. And I'm sitting there like, what? And she just runs out. Mind you, I was hanging out with the husband all night, with the baby. Our families are close. And she just said that, and she took off, which was pretty interesting to say the least, right? She says that, and I was like, that was weird. And my wife's like, yeah, dude, he's in the bathroom just hanging out. Like, she didn't even go in with him. And I was like, okay. So I didn't respond emotionally. I was like, all right, I don't like it. How do you feel, sweetheart? Asking our daughter. She's like, it made me feel uncomfortable, to be honest. Because, like, even though I know him, like, I don't want him to see my privates, I'm like, oh, of course. Yeah, that's yours. Like, no, that shouldn't be the case at all whatsoever. You shouldn't be made to feel that way, even by friends. Didn't say anything to the husband. They were already, like, gone. Didn't say anything to the husband. Text him, because guess what? It's not a huge deal. My wife got over it. I told my daughters, like, hey, next time we'll pipe up. We'll make sure we say something, because they were already on their way out. And she ran by my wife. So it was, like, really weird. So I'm at work today, and he's texting me. And he's like, hey, can we talk? And I was like, I try to make time, but we're busy at work. And I was like, man, that's kind of weird. And even his text messages seemed extremely short and aggressive. I was like, hey, no problem, brother. I'll talk to you then. Da, da, da. And usually he's like, all right, man, no problem. He's like, okay. I'm like, oh, all right. It was really short. Like maybe okay, or sounds good, or no problem, or NP, or something to that magnitude, it was uncharacteristic of him. So I already felt something was off. But once again, who knows? How can I make a judgment until I find out, right? And if you let yourself be ran by emotions, you're always going to fail. Even if it's like a puppy in the road, right? If you say, oh my gosh, a puppy, and you just start swerving on the road because you're like feeling this puppy's pain, right? You're more liable to get into an accident. So calm down, pull over. All right, 1 second. Let me make sure there's no cars. All right, cool. Let's get it. Like, have a plan, right? So I waited. I called my wife. I said, that was a little weird, but I'm going to talk to him. Pray for our situation that, like, speak positive words, pray for our situation that we could come to a conclusion that's like, I thought they were going to apologize. She's like, my bad. He was in the bathroom. Not what happened. Mind you, my father-in-law just got sent to the ER, or he's in the ER for something. And my wife had just called me. So, like, I'm just telling you how emotions work, what I visualize, right? He calls me. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, hey, what's up? I was like, I'm really sorry I didn't get the last call. Amanda's father's in the hospital. Crickets. I didn't bring it up. That's okay. No worries. We're friends. But all I heard was crickets. And I'm sitting there like, wow, that's kind of weird. And he's like, yeah. And he starts explaining that him and his wife were very upset with myself and my wife. Or they felt like they're upset that we didn't trust their boy to be in the bathroom with our daughter. That, like, I cannot make this up. And I was like, okay. And that, after all, they watched our kids, we've watched their kids. And I really don't let people watch our children, honestly, for the most part. I just can't trust most people, but I trust his family. And he was I've never heard him sound so emotional and be so, he's like, we're taken aback that you guys would, feel this way about us and think this about us. And I was like, we didn't say anything. I was like, did my wife say something to you? Because she said she didn't say anything. She was like, okay. And he's like, no, and our son was upset and da-da-da. And I was like, this does not make any sense in my mind. Why would your son be upset when he went into the girls' bathroom and your wife was there, apparently, and didn't go with him, didn't, like, be the mediator, like, hey, he's really got to go. Not a, hey, sorry to make you uncomfortable. He really has to go. He's going to pee his pants. Nothing. So he's telling me how upset they are, and I'm quiet. I'm listening. I'm okay. And I'm just letting them give it to me. I'm like, okay. Not agreeing, but I'm like, okay. And I stop it. When he's done, I'm like, okay, do you have anything else you want to share? I'm here to listen, da-da-da-da. And he's like, that's really it, because I just thought we were closer than this. And I was like, whoa. So the first thing I said was, hey, man, I want to let you know, man, my wife and I, my wife and I love you. We love you guys very much. And despite this awkward issue or incident, that doesn't change how we feel about you guys. And he got quiet. He was like, oh. He's like, I'm not going to lie to you. That makes me feel so much better. Because, like, I just thought you guys didn't trust us anymore and da-da-da. I'm like, bruh, give me a chance. I haven't said anything. There was, like, no anger, no nothing. Like, I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, yeah, maybe we should work on it. But he was like, I was thinking about it all night, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was like, dude, I'm sad for you that's what the feeling you got, because your wife maybe felt guilty and ran off. She didn't even talk to my wife. And I'm not trying to bring drama. Hear me out. I'm trying to talk about emotions. And I'm sharing a story on how we all can be better de-escalators. And I'm not that great at it, but I'm working on it. Because old Brandon didn't care. I care to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong. So I was like, okay. And he said, my son was upset all night thinking he's the worst child in the world. I was like, nobody said anything to him. And he definitely didn't apologize to our daughter. So I was like, okay. All right. And I was like, well, we love you guys. 2, the women should be speaking about this. This happened between them. He's like, oh, you're right. I know this is the worst way for me to bring this to you. I was like, yeah, totally, dude. Like, why are we going back and forth? It's so silly. If my wife and your wife felt a certain way, they should talk about it. And that's totally fine. Because de-escalation is not at the forefront of people's minds. Liberals, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, these are titles. They're not who you are. Wake up. Break out of this fake reality. Wake up. These people are human. You're human. You disagree about certain things. Love your family. Don't allow your family to not be your family because they voted a certain way. That's crazy. You think the animals are in the Serengeti like, Oh, this is my sister, this is my brother. Oh, she voted for Zabumba and he voted for Badunga. So like, this is where we are right now. We're splitting up. No. No. It's crazy, man. I'm sweating, bro. I'm sweating. Bug is in this piece. So to kind of wrap it up, I was saying that, like, first off, the ladies need to talk. Second of all, I understand you don't have any daughters, but you should think about how my daughter feels, right? She feels very uncomfortable. Or any of the other girls in the bathroom. I don't want to get into that. I'm not here to judge my friends based off of anything else. I want to talk about this situation because it was interesting. And I said, I'm not willing to lose a friendship over like perceived notions, and how awesome you say my family is, how awesome your wife's relationship is with my wife, that we even need to have this talk. A quick apology would have been cool, like, oh, I'm so sorry, my bad. Or hey, my daughter, I'm sorry for that, what happened. It's just funny. Yo, what the heck, was that a duck? Gotta roll the window up and burn up again. I say this to say, folks, keep your emotions, they will make you human. But utilize them in a way that brings people closer together, please. I'm begging you. I believe we're on our last leg as the USA. I know everybody's saying it's going to be the golden age. Wonderful. That's not helping relationships. That's not bringing your fellow woman, fellow man together. It's not. It's not. Let's work together. And I literally put this man's mind at ease, all while saying, like, you never apologized or whatever, because I don't care. I said, I would like for you to apologize to my daughter. That's about it. And your wife should call my wife and have them apologize to the daughter. Whatever I said. However I said it. But it was not out of malice. It was not out of emotion. It was not out of anger. It's the right, honorable thing to do, respectful thing to do. And that's it. And I said, man, I love you, man. I don't know what's going on or why it's happening, but I love you very much. And I hope you guys have a great night. And that was it. And I talked to my wife. I said, hey, if she calls you or she doesn't call you, state your case, but do so in a loving manner. Because just because you're being loving doesn't mean you're being a pushover. Be like, yeah, I understand. I understand that. I still really just don't appreciate it. You know, there's a way to do it, guys. Let us all be savants in the art of working together, because it's not common anymore. We literally have divided ourselves into subgroup, into subgroup, into subgroup, into subgroup. We gotta stop that crap, man. We gotta stop. Life is too dang short. And this is probably the longest video that you're gonna see from me. Gotta stop making that face. But I appreciate you guys listening. I've been busy. It's so much. And I apologize, but I don't think I'm gonna be taking my son back to the group. I've been there. We've probably been there for like 3 weeks, maybe a month total. And they have so many cool lessons to learn, but he gets treated differently because he is different. He's fairly quiet, very respectful, doesn't scream and run around like the other kids, punch each other, putting boogers on each other, which I get, right? It's a specific culture. They don't get taught to at all. But as soon as my son voices he doesn't like something, I do see the parents visibly wince because of factors I'm not going to bring up here, and I don't want to go down that road. I choose to just remove myself, not make a big scene about it, and then put him somewhere where he can shine, right? I think that's what we all want for all of our children. But anyways, I appreciate you guys listening to the video. Wolf signing off, and peace.